Hey, what's up everyone? Alan here again with Al's Garage. Haven't done a video in a while, so I want to go ahead and do a segment on how to change an alternator on a 2001 Dodge Dakota. So I got a little helper here with me, my daughter Elena. She'll be helping us out tonight. So pretty much what happened was I've been having this problem recently. What'll happen is I'll drive my truck for about 15 minutes and then my check gauge's light comes on and my battery indicator light or indicator stick goes all the way to the left, letting me know that my battery is pretty much not charging at all. So a brand new battery, just got it a week or two ago. No, it's not the battery, and I had it checked out, and no place will really do an alternator check with a low battery. So I read the forums online, and it kind of indicates that you can rebuild your alternator and you can take it apart and replace the housing and save like 30 or 40 bucks. But
yeah, like that is a natural.
I'm gonna go ahead and just replace the whole thing because it's only like $30 or $40 more. You know, it's not that big a deal. A lot less work, and it's actually really easy. It's a lot easier than I thought it would be. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. And just to let you know, I did kind of break down the tools that we're gonna need a lot better than I did in the last video. So I will have pretty much every single tool that you will need.
Yeah, like this.
Written down on a list, okay? So, like I said, we'll go ahead and dive into this project. Alright, so this time I wrote down pretty much everything that we're going to need. We are going to need a flathead screwdriver. We're going to need a 10mm wrench, a 14mm wrench, a 15mm wrench, and a 13mm wrench. And then, like I said, a flathead, and then also our gloves for our safety gear, like demonstrated by Elena there. Got our gloves on, so. Alright, we're all set. We're going to go ahead and get started. Alrighty, guys. Well, and gals, we are obviously working at night. Got to get this done, so. What I did is I went ahead and loosened everything up, making it easy to show you guys how this works. So this is obviously our alternator right here.
Yeah, this is an alternator work.
It's original factory 693 AB.
Was it a 690 BM?
Denso, which is the original manufacturer. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna disconnect our battery terminals, like I've done there. Positive, negative. 10mm wrench on both of those. So got those out of the way. Next thing we gotta do is using a flathead. You can see that little nut right there, loosening that up with a flathead out of the throttle body housing. So we can pull that away. Same thing here. Got another flathead. Another part of the intake housing right there. So once you get those out, you have a bolt here, one there, and then one right there. I believe that's the, yep, 10mm as well, just like the battery. Going back over here. Go ahead and pull this away. Alright, so that's what it looks like with the intake removed. Got a little bit more room to work with on the top of the alternator. Now the next step, it's kind of the more, the most difficult part of this whole process. It's really not that hard, but you have what's called a belt tensioner pulley, and it is located right on the left side of the fan clutch there. It's kind of hard to see, but it's the bottom left pulley. Let's see if I can get a better view for you guys. There it is right there. You see the belt going down? It's the one on the bottom left. Little small pulley, 15mm wrench, and you're going to turn it clockwise. When you turn the wrench clockwise, it's going to act like a kind of a spring-loaded pulley, and it will release the tension on this belt. When the tension is released, you can go ahead and pull it off the alternator. Make sure you kind of hang on to it. And what I did was I got my little helper, and she gave me a zip tie. I zip tied it to the water cooling hose right there. So keeps it out of the way, and it also keeps it to where you're not going to lose tracing of your whole serpentine belt, because that's what that is. Just in case you do lose the routing of the belt, it's all right there. Should be on your engine bay also. All right, so we got 3 bolts to work with. One right there. One right there. And this is the different size one right there. So also we have 2 harnesses. One harness you have to unbolt. This guy right here. And you have one that unplugs right there. It's pretty simple. I believe the millimeters were the 2 bigger ones were 15mm, and the smaller one was 13mm. So this guy right here is 13mm, just to let you guys know. So alright, so we went ahead and loosened everything up. Go ahead and take her off. Be back shortly. Alright guys, we're back again with Al's garage. So this is the old one. All we gotta do is just loosen it up here on the sides. On the left side here is the hardest part, and it just pulls right out. So this is where the tight fit is right here. To get the new one on, hopefully it'll be a lot easier, because the old one kind of had to wedge it out a little bit, but we'll see how the new one goes in. Alright, morning everybody. Obviously it's light outside now, it's no longer dark out, it's the next day. The reason being is because the old alternator went out very smoothly, but the new alternator had a big issue fitting through these little notches right here. So after staying up late, taking a Dremel, grinding each side of these down on the inside and the outside, messing with that for a while, I kind of gave up. And then this morning I woke up, watched a couple YouTube videos. Thank you guys for those videos, and found out a really easy way to do this, so kind of share what I saw in another video. This is a new alternator, obviously, and basically all you do is lay it in here without worrying about the left side at all. Just kind of lay it there and worry about lining up your right side here. Inserting the bolt right there, getting it nice and snug. And then go ahead and ratchet it up. You know, don't get it tight, but you want to take the ratchet, go ahead and at least tighten it up all the way to the where it's a little bit snug. Cooper barking in the backyard. Daughter is still passed out, so got up a little bit early. Got a little bit too tight there. Loosen it up a little bit. Okay. So, yeah, there we go. That's what we want. A little bit more, a little crank. Okay. Alright, so now the second step. So that's it for this segment. We'll be back in a minute. Okay, back here again. So, being the fact that we were able to line it up with the one bolt here, you know, making sure it's a little bit snug. Don't tighten it up, but make sure it's snug. It kind of lines up the whole alternator. And fortunately, I don't have a rubber hammer, which you should really use as a rubber hammer. But instead, I just used a piece of wood, placing it right about here when it wasn't in all the way, and then using my metal mallet, kind of banging into place right here. It'll eventually get in there. You just kind of have to work with it, using this tab here and this tab over here. You don't want to go too far, which is what I did, because then you're not going to line up in the hole. What I found is I just used my camera here, my phone camera, turned it upside down and took a picture, letting me know which side is not lining up. It's kind of a tight fit here, you know, to see. So once I did that, a little bit of tweaking back and forth this way, I was able to get it to line up. Slid right in there. Now we just gotta tighten everything up. Alright, so got this all tightened up now. Got two electrical connectors. I always like to clean the electrical connectors, especially the harness. Spray a little bit of electrical cleaner in here. Quick drying formula. Unfortunately, my tab here is broken on the harness, so when I plug it in, it doesn't click in there all the way. So hopefully it stays in there. Otherwise, I was thinking about possibly zip tying it around the harness here, around the bottom of this, to provide it more support. But we'll see. It's in there. Go ahead and take the nut off here. Okay, so go ahead and tighten up that nut. You go ahead and put the intake back on the exact way it came off, and using my 15mm ratchet, I'm gonna release the belt tensioner and put the pulley back on. Alrighty. Alright, so we got everything all put back together. The alternator intake is all assembled correctly and tight. Make sure you tighten your hoses here and here with a flathead. This one was a little bit difficult to push onto the flange here, but make sure it's tight. You don't get any dirt leaking into your throttle body there. Go ahead and tighten up your positive and negative. So everything looks good. Serpentine belt's back on. Use a 15mm. The only thing I had to make sure the fan clutch pulley right there, it doesn't have any threads in it to make sure that it's seated properly, so you just have to make sure it's centered right on the pulley right there. So when you release your belt tensioner, just make sure that you just kind of wiggle it right in the center. But everything else kind of went on smoothly there. all the belts. That's the most important part, to make sure all the belts are secured properly in their place before you start the engine. So one other thing I'll go over with you before I start it up and do the final test is, this is the old core. When I bought this new one, I was charged about 40 bucks for a core charge. So we're gonna take this one back today, Elena and I, and get our 38 bucks back. So make sure you do that. All right, here we go, ultimate test. Get you the gauges right there. Very nice. Here's my battery gauge. Before, it was actually staying on the left line right there the whole time, and eventually what it would do is check gauge's light would come on down here, and it would just dip all the way over to the left. So it's a lot better sign. It's always good. Still have check engine light on for some oxygen sensor codes that I haven't taken care of from a while ago. Alright, everything looks good. Well, thanks again, ladies and gentlemen, from Al's Garage. You guys have a great day.